Everyone, Damien here from the StarCraft 2 Guidance site, bringing you a tactics video on the Sentry units. So yes, as you can see, it's a pretty good unit, especially to have earlier on to fend off rushes up your ramp, for example. Just down one more, there we go. So yeah, overall a pretty nice little spellcast. It actually comes out pretty early, so yeah, it can actually be pretty useful in preventing early rushes, and as you can see, it can actually act as a bit of a force multiplier, especially when units are trying to attack up a ramp, such as these Zerglings. So there we go, it's just a simple demonstration. So yeah, the Sentry is also pretty early available spellcaster for the Protoss. You only need a cybernetics core, and they're produced from the gateway. So yes, once you have the cybernetics core, then they can produce from the gateway, and yeah, they also gain access to the upgrade hallucination, which allows them to hallucinate, or rather to create hallucinated versions of real units, which can be pretty useful as well. So yeah, Sentry doesn't start out with too much energy, but yeah, it can certainly turn the tide of battles. Even late in the game, it can really make a bit of a difference. So the different spells are force field, which basically, as you saw, it prevents troop movement through them. They also come with Guardian Shield, which basically reduces the ranged damage to your forces, so not too shabby indeed. And it also makes them a bit of a target though for enemy forces, so you have to kind of keep your sentries, well, you have to keep them well defended basically by more standard units. And unlike the other spellcasters, the sentries also come with their own ranged attack as well, so it's not much, just a little disruption beam. Although you think something with the name of disruption beam would be more disruptive, perhaps. Oh well, can you do? But anyway, yeah, they come with their own ranged weapons as well, so they can do an alright job in providing a bit of fire support as well. So yes, not too shabby as well. Against the Zerg, for example, as you can see, they're pretty useful in controlling, or rather limiting the movements of various units, especially Zerglings and such. Giving your army an easier time, or rather giving your army a better, well, better positioning, so you can engage in only parts of the enemy army that you want, and yeah, they can be applied to the most of the other armies as well. They can be pretty good for splitting up your opponent's armies. Say for example, you had a blob of units coming in, cast some force fields to split them in half, and yeah, then you only engage half of the army yourself, and the other half is stranded somewhere else, so not too shabby indeed. And yeah, the Guardian Shield, should I say, is also pretty good overall against other races. Yeah, it always applies that damage reduction to range damage to nearby units, including air units as well. And yeah, it can certainly help tip the scales when it comes to army versus army engagements. So anyway, we'll just go forward a bit more, and I'll just demonstrate the use of the hallucination ability. If I can just find the there we go, so space. Okay. So yes, of course, hallucination can be used earlier on to create. Just use it to create, for example, scouting units. So you could, for example, create scouting Phoenix, and yeah, you can use that for very quick scouting. Or also, you can use it to go into hostile environments, such as environments full of these little spore crawlers and such, or yeah, you can just use them for general scouting later on in the game. Also, hallucination is pretty valuable as well, provided that your opponent doesn't have detection, because you can hallucinate powerful things such as colossi. Problem is, the summons, or the hallucinated units, they don't have as many, as much health or shields as the there we go, as the real thing. But so yeah, your opponent will be able to tell them apart, and provided that you keep them as part of your main army, it's actually a bit hard to tell, yeah, which ones are the real ones, which ones are the fake ones. So yeah, it's a bit overkill for this situation, but yeah, it can certainly show how they can be effective. And even with even if your opponent does have detection, which allows them to see which units are hallucinated and which ones aren't, they still have to manually target. They still have to manually target the non-hallucinated units, which can be a bit tricky in larger battles, especially if you're hallucinating colossi and mixing them with regular colossi. Like still, you know, not only just target, but you know, the enemy still has to make a conscious effort there, so it can still be advantageous to use hallucinated units, unless of course you need energy for yeah, for other things such as force fields to split up your opponent's armies and all that. So yeah, it's a nice little overall unit, and yeah, they can be used against all the other races. Yeah, essentially for controlling the movements of their units, as well as yeah, reducing range damage and the hallucination as well. Although that's a bit more optional, I suppose, than well, compared to its other abilities. And yeah, it of course remains useful throughout the game as well. So, yeah, Sentry remains pretty useful throughout the game as well, despite being available so early. So yeah, check out the StarCraft 2 guidance site for more information about the Protoss, and until next time, this has been Dame Dudovich, signing off.